Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're looking at something that seems pretty basic at first glance, something you probably use every single day in Excel. The F12 key. I always thought this was just a simple save as shortcut, and that's it.
Yeah, a lot of people think that.
But it turns out like a lot of these basic tools that we take for granted,
hmm
there's actually a lot more going on under the hood with the F12 key.
It really is about a lot more than just saving your file in Excel.
So today we're going to find out why save as and using F12 to access it is such a powerful tool to have in your arsenal.
Exactly, and we'll look at how it can help you take control of your work.
I'm definitely guilty of just hitting Control plus S all the time, and hoping for the best.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
But can you remind us, why is save as so important?
Okay, so think of it this way. When you just hit Control plus S, it's kind of like you're working on a whiteboard. You're constantly updating and changing the same file. But with Save As, it's like you're taking a snapshot of that whiteboard at different points in time. So you have the original and then separate versions with all your changes and additions.
Oh, okay, I get it. So it's all about creating backups.
That's a big part of it, yeah.
So you don't have that moment where you're like, oh no, I just overwrote something super important.
Right, exactly. But there's even more to it than just backups. Let's say, for example, you're trying to send a spreadsheet
Yeah.
to someone who has an older version of Excel.
Like they're still back in the 90s?
Well, maybe not that old, but, they don't have the latest and greatest version. Using Save As will let you choose a file format that their version can actually open.
Oh, that's really useful.
Yeah, it's like you're translating your file into a language that their computer can understand.
I like that analogy. Now, our source material had this great real-time example of exactly what happens when you press F12 while you're working on a spreadsheet.
Right, let's walk through that. So imagine you're in Excel,
Yeah.
you're deep in a spreadsheet, formulas are going, numbers are being crunched, and then you hit F12. And what happens is this little dialog box pops up. It's called the Save As dialog.
Okay.
And right there at the top, you'll see the location where your file is going to be saved
Okay.
if you just hit save. But you can also change the name of your file, maybe add like a version number or a client name. And then there's this drop-down menu where you choose what type of file you want to save it as.
Ah, so that's where all those different formats are. It's like
Essentially.
.xls or .csv that we were just talking about.
Yep, that's where you pick those.
Yeah.
And it's all there in this one little dialog box.
That's pretty handy.
It is. Oh, and here's something that you might not know.
What's that?
Even if you've already saved your file once, you can still hit F12, change the name or the format,
Mm-hmm.
and save a completely new version without affecting your original file.
Whoa, wait, seriously?
Yeah, for real.
That is a game changer. I mean, that makes version control so much easier.
Exactly.
No more of those, final version file names.
Oh, I know those files.
Yeah.
It's such a mess.
So F12 is like a secret weapon for organization.
Pretty much. Speaking of which, how are your file naming habits?
Huh.
Are you using a good system that makes sense?
I have to admit, I really rely on my memory a lot,
Mm-hmm.
which means that later on, I end up digging through folders trying to remember which file was which.
So you're like a digital archaeologist.
It's pretty bad. I know I need a better system,
Yeah, using clear naming conventions can really make a difference.
especially when you're collaborating with other people.
Definitely. It's like you're all speaking the same language. Everyone knows what each file is, when it was created, and what changes have been made, so there's no confusion and no wasted time searching for the right file.
So I guess the big takeaway here
Hmm.
is that F12 is about a lot more than just saving your file.
Right. It's really about managing your work in a really intentional way. Making backups, controlling different versions of your files, and making sure that you can share your files with anyone.
It's like F12 puts you in the driver's seat.
Exactly.
I feel like I've just leveled up my Excel skills just from having this conversation and understanding F12 better.
That's great to hear.
And that's what these deep dives are all about, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Finding those hidden gems in the tools we use every day. So listener, I have a challenge for you. How can you use the F12 key to be more efficient and more organized in your own work?
That's a great question for everyone to think about.
Let us know what you come up with. And until next time, keep on diving.